welcome back again to the Personal Development Podcast with Dan Visser. Today we're diving into something that affects every single one of us. Our thoughts, our beliefs, and what happens when we follow our passion despite of the fear. So what happens when you really go for what you want in life? We've all been there. You get an idea, a vision, a dream, and it lights you up. You feel excited just thinking about it. You picture the life, the version of you that you're becoming. You think, yes, I'm going to do this. You are convinced. But then either straight away or the next day, you start hearing thoughts like, it's going to be difficult, it will take a long time, you're not smart enough, or you don't have the right resources. I've had those thoughts too, and trust me, I still do sometimes when I take on new things. The difference now is that I know they are just thoughts. They're not who I am, they're external, and because I can observe them as something which is outside of me, I don't have to believe them. A thought is just a thought. I see it as its own person. If you believe it doesn't serve you, you can simply say, no thanks, I don't need you, and reject it. You can then choose a new one that feels better, and when you choose more empowering thoughts, they will lead to better feelings, which will lead to better actions, which will lead to better results. Everything you feel comes from a belief. You might feel joy walking through nature because you believe nature energizes you, whilst someone else might feel the joy from cooking or playing a video game. Now imagine someone tells you you'll never achieve something big. You can either let it crush you or you can take it by the horns and say fuck it and let it fire you up. You can think, thank you for the motivation, I'll show myself that I can. That choice comes down to belief. So ask yourself, every time something happens and you don't feel the feeling you prefer, what am I believing to be true in this very moment in order to feel this way? Because if you believe I'm not good enough to do this, stop and ask, where did this belief even come from? I can tell you it often comes from someone else's opinion, a parent, a teacher, a friend, and when you really look at it, you'll see that it's not even true. You'll start to see that it comes from fear, either someone else's fear or created by the media. Once you see that, you can let it go and replace it with something that serves you. For example, I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm capable of anything. I'll figure it out. I'm a master manifester, I'm a powerful being, or I can do anything I want. Or take all of the above. Let me share a personal story. I was living in Verbier, Switzerland, working as a ski instructor. I had no degree, just a high school diploma, and after the ski season I decided to stay. And because Switzerland isn't the most affordable place, I needed a summer job. I walked into every cafe, bar, retail shop, supermarket, and even the ski schools that ran mountain biking classes in the summer, but nothing. Everyone had already their staff. Then someone said, why don't you try some of the real estate agencies in town? Something inside of me lit up. As a kid, I always said that one day I'd own so much property that I can rent out, renovate, sell, and earn passive income and do whatever I love on the side. So this felt like a great idea and a great way to start learning about real estate. I walked into 3 agencies and 2 of them said no, and the third one said, well, we are not looking, but try Savills at the roundabout. I believe that they might be. So I walked in and asked to speak to the manager. And at that exact moment, synchronistically, the manager walked in and he said, what do you want? I handed him my CV and said, listen, I want to work for you. I do it for 2 months for free. I don't care what I have to do. I can even clean your toilets, but I just want to learn what you do. He smiled at me and said, that's exactly how I started out. Let's sit down. A few months later, I was working for Savills, not cleaning toilets, but helping him selling high-end property. The point is, when you take action on your passion and trust that inner pull, the universe responds. The right people show up, the right doors open, everything you need arrives in perfect timing. Not a second too soon and not a second too late. Right on time, always. And when something doesn't work out, it's because the universe knows there is a better path waiting for you. Think, for example, about how many times in your life you thought you knew what you should be doing, but it didn't work out, and eventually it led up to something even better that you expected. If you haven't experienced that yet, trust me, it's true. I'm speaking from experience. Your path can simply change with a single conversation that you overhear on a walk, a podcast that you're listening to, or a new idea that simply comes to you. But it all starts with one thing. Following what excites you the most every day, no matter if it's big or small. It can be as simple as calling a friend, recording a podcast, going for a walk or planning a trip, even writing down your own vision. And when you act on that excitement, you align with what's best for you, and then the next step reveals itself, and the next, which brings you closer to where you want to be. So if this episode reminded you of your power, passion, and potential to do anything you truly want in life, share it in your own story and send it to someone that you love. Tag them, DM them, and share it with the world. And if you're struggling with something or are curious about how I would approach what you're going through right now, send me a message, leave it in the comments, and I might cover it in a future episode. Thank you for being here. Until next time, follow your highest excitement and know that you're on the right path.